although we haven't found it yet. So-called extraterrestrial
But we can't
finish to deny their existence. To this day, it's happening countless times around the world. Unexplained sightings, incidents related to the third type of contact. Is there another possibility that aliens have already arrived? There's even life out there. They live in a corner of the earth. It's just that we can't face it. Hello, I am the Universal Ceremony. Today, we will talk about mysterious events that remain unsolved to this day. So, and this one happened in Ilkley Moor, UK. Extremely bizarre alien abduction incident. This event is also known as Ilkley Moor alien sighting. The incident was also reported in 2011. Selected as one of the top 10 UFO incidents in the UK. The protagonist of this incident is Philip Spencer. He's a retired police officer. On the morning of December 1, 1987, walk from your own house to your father-in-law's house. Because he has always had the habit of doing that morning exercises, he was going to walk and exercise. From his house to his father-in-law's house will pass by. There's a lot of fascinating scenery. So he took his camera. Get ready to take some nice scenery shots. Then walk. He found himself on the hillside ahead, as if something was staring at him on the road. Philip thought he had encountered some wild animal. I took out my camera and got ready to take 2 nice photos. As a result, when he approached, a scene that shocked him also appeared. This thing is not a wild animal. It was a strange creature. He had dark green skin. Height is about 1.2 meters. But he had a big head. And arms almost the same height. Then the creature slowly raised its arm. It seems to be calling fly. At this time, Phillips was particularly flustered. On this mountain, just him and this unknown creature opposite. Who are you putting here? No one dares to say they are not afraid. He did not dare to move in the direction of the unknown creature. I took a picture of the creature from a distance. That's because there's a lot of fog on the hillside. The cameras of the time were also old-fashioned film cameras. So the photos I took are relatively blurry. You can still see the outline of the creature. I don't know if it's the camera flash. Scared unknown creatures. Or did Philip himself scare him? Unknown creature, after taking this photo, run quickly to the other side of the mountain. Then Philip saw behind the mountain, a flying object slowly rises, and they fly off into the distance. Well, according to Philip, UFOs are silvery white. It's 2 plates. It's like putting a bowl on a plate. He makes a kind of roar when he flies. A car-like engine. It's a pity that he took out his camera. The aircraft quickly disappeared into the sky, and he ran off to town, found a photo studio, and developed this alien photograph. After developing the photos, he found that his watch was better than photo management clocks. 2 hours late, after this photo was reported, and it made headlines. But what Phillips didn't expect was, 5 days later, several men in black arrived late at night, entered his bedroom. The man in black warned and intimidated Phillips. Let him later. No more inappropriate remarks are allowed on this matter. As things fade away, Phillips' condition is getting worse and worse. He often feels anxious, frequent insomnia. Physical health is also declining rapidly. A checkup in the hospital. There is no problem with the body. The organization doctor recommended him to see a psychiatrist. After several visits with a psychiatrist, Philip is ready for hypnotherapy. As a result, under hypnosis, Philip mentioned the story that everyone couldn't believe. What's this story? It starts with meeting this unknown creature. Philip, in hypnosis, says, after taking pictures, the creature raised its arm. Suddenly, Philip looks like he was hit by something, paralyzed, and then a butterfly came. Beneath this butterfly-shaped object, a beam of light appeared, sucked him in. When he opened his eyes again, he was already inside. A few aliens conducted a series of physical examinations, put some unknown objects stuffed in his nose and mouth. After the experiment, the aliens also kindly invited him. A disaster movie. There was a nuclear explosion in the movie, famines and floods. But the aliens didn't explain it to Philip. What do these disasters portend? After watching the aliens put him in his original position. Then he turned and ran to the other side of the mountain, fly away in an unknown aircraft. When Phillips went to the photo studio to develop I found that my watch was 2 hours slow. In fact, it's not that the watch is 2 hours slow. It was his memory that disappeared for 2 hours. The time when memory fades. After he took pictures of the aliens. When he saw the robot go away. Actually, it's been 2 hours. And that's what happened the whole time. Many skeptics have also been questioning, why didn't Phillips photograph the UFO? Or aliens? Something implanted in your body. Did you find it? How do you prove this is true? What happened? Regarding these doubts, Philip, except for this photo, couldn't produce any more favorable evidence to prove he wasn't lying. So far, the matter is still pending. Then this photo was later identified by many experts, but can't tell the difference. What is that creature? It could be human, could be extraterrestrial. Of course, it could also be a wild animal. The only certainty is, this is one that has not been modified in any way. Composite original photo, body event, and the Land Dawson incident we talked about before. It's a little bit like the Hill incident. The Hills also lost 2 hours of memory. However, the Hills are under hypnosis. Draw a star map that has not yet been fully discovered. Star maps were later confirmed to be real. In the Land Dawson soldiers incident, who touch UFOs, the password of 2 caddies also appeared in my mind. After decoding, it actually points to a silent island and a fallen Protoss, solitary Protoss. These 2 incidents have been explained in detail. Interested audience, you can take a look at the online information. The Phillips incident, except for one, there is no real information anymore. So if it's true or false, let's execute the judgment. November 17. Japan Airlines Flight 1628 from Paris to Tokyo Narita Airport. This flight is a cargo flight. No passengers. Only 3 crew members. The captain pilot is a former fighter. The driver calls for indoor signing. The co-pilot's name is Tenglong County. There's also a retired military engineer who plugs the bear, driving at that time by the captain, who has accumulated more than 10,000 hours. Is responsible. Halfway through, 3 people ready to land. Replenish the fuel trigger to autopilot mode into the skies above Alaska. The altitude was 11,000 kilometers above sea level. The cruising speed is 909 kilometers per hour. As they prepare to land, air traffic controllers advise them to fly in the direction of tragically and land there. So at 17:11 p.m., the plane began to turn, heading towards Tragically Airport. But this turn, driver's room, suddenly found. There are 2 unidentified square objects in the front hiding about 610 meters under the car on the right side of the plane. While he was turning the corner, this thing is also changed his flight direction. 2 robots making simultaneous almost turns bumped into each other. Indoor signing says, this object is so big that I feel fear. Because he looks the size of 2 aircraft carriers. Own Boeing 7 Scorpion. In front of him, it's like ants seeing a football. This thing's quite the beat. You've been there? 1628. Similar requests you're making. Right 360 degrees. 363 turns. If I don't know what your traffic then the better. 1628. Heavy turn as your traffic appear to be staying with you. And after a smooth turn, object's apparent flight path, the speed is consistent with your own flight. 6 minutes later, at 1717, 2 unidentified objects rushed suddenly to about 150 meters in front of the nose. 2 unidentified flying objects are ranged up and down. From time to time, it will also emit a strong white light. This aircraft is not only peculiar in shape, seems to ignore the law of gravity. They seem to stand still in front of you, but their speed can maintain the same standard as your own aircraft. Subsequently, they did it in a way that humans cannot understand. Change the direction of progress. This change can spook indoor sightings. Although he doesn't know where he is ahead. Is a flying machine? But he can be sure this should not be a flying machine owned by humans. He immediately informed the ground air traffic control center. The control center answered him immediately. Ground radar picked up behind them. There is indeed one. Flickering objects follow. The staff also instructed them to pay attention to flight safety. Played our advisors. They are picking up intermitters. The 3 people on the plane, after the objects flew together for 5 decided to speed up and get closer. See what he is. At this moment, the 2 UFOs suddenly separated and raised his altitude. Because his height has risen, indoor 1,000 beasts, I saw the propulsion mechanism of this flying object. Under the square aircraft, there are 2 parallel matrix devices. The device appears to be his source of motivation because there's a heat wave outside. That appears to be the object's thrusters. And the other party? It seems that I also want to. Indoor signing to see your configuration at clearly. This height. It flew for about 5 minutes again. Then the two objects suddenly accelerated. Or is it? Suddenly handed over the flash. Because of UFOs. Yes. In an instant, it disappeared from the sight of the three of them. Indoor signing. The airborne radar detection range has been adjusted to the maximum. This time the radar shows about 14-15 kilometers from them. There really are UFOs half flying with him. After the airborne radar test detected, he immediately asked the air traffic control center, can ground-based radar detect the object? Result, air traffic control center. And I gave him a very clear answer. There are indeed some near you. An unidentified object. 7 or 16. You do not see the traffic on the longer. On the other hand, and here's what's even scarier. In the flight path of Flight 1628, there is an Air Force base. They also had planes at that time. Same route as Flight 1628. So after Flight 1628, Air Force planes also entered the same area. They're also on Flight 1628. Unknown object discovered. The soldier flying the military plane said, the object is indeed twice the size of an aircraft carrier. Military aircraft to avoid colliding bypasses the object. On the other hand, Flight 1628 landed safely. Start describing the encounter to reporters. Indoor signing under the interview of reporters. The simulation draws the situation on the scene. But when the incident was exposed by reporters, the government has. He talked to reporters on the grounds of leaking secrets. Banned him from participating in any flight missions. 1 month later, the FA contacted the indoor signing. The incident was reported on December 29th and promised a 3-month investigation into the incident. Results 3 months later. The investigation ended with a lack of evidence. However, on May 9, 2001, there was a workshop called the Disclosure Project. Former Secretary of the U.S. Department of Air Accident Investigations. The U.S. government covered up 15 years ago the truth about the UFO incident on JAL Flight 1628. He said that 9 people came to the White House. 3 of them were science advisors to President Reagan. 3 are from the FBI. 3 are from the CIA. Plus him. There are 10 people in total. They are at the Federal Aviation Administration. A secret meeting was held. At the meeting, he showed the captain's testimony to the remaining 9 and expressed my own opinion as an aviation professional. He said what he witnessed in this incident. He thinks it's something higher than Earth technology. After the meeting, the CIA took all the evidence and told him, we never met today. This meeting never took place. The content of today's meeting must not be disclosed. But his record? There's no actual evidence. But our CCTV 10 sets. I don't know where I got Flight 1628. Transcript of the conversation with the ground air traffic incident was also reported. The recorded conversation we just all from this film. I put the complete recording of the film. Let me play it for you. Yeah, that's one. We have confirmed there's a flight size of 2 around 1. 5. 1 primary return only. Where is he falling? It looks like he is. Yes. Okay, stand by. I do the entral and trail on second. We're going to talk to your Loss and Oster about that. Okay, we're calling out your desk on this. You can hear it on that tape. Later, the military was indeed notified to intervene. So the credibility of this matter is still very high. Port Sark is located at the southern tip of Nova Scotia, very backward fishing village. But in 1967, something happened here. The UFO incident that caused a sensation. It was around PM on October 4. 1967. A lady report to Royal Canadian Police Headquarters claiming to have seen an unknown object. He flew over the harbor with an orange glow. Then countless police calls poured in. Hundreds of witnesses have claimed there is an orange glow as it flies over the port. Accidental fall. One fell into the sea near the port. The estimator claims that the luminous object consists of 4 light clusters during the flight. Extremely fast. 4 light clusters keep flashing. But above the harbor, he suddenly stopped moving. Then at a very fast speed, it rushed to the surface of the water. At the same time, one is in local airspace. Pilots who perform daily flight tasks also report to ground air traffic control. Himself in midair, a UFO was spotted, are flying beneath them. but it hasn't been investigated yet. The Royal Police believe this is the minimum time, so they dispatched several rescue teams. Rushed to implementation. After searching the sea, Officer Ron Pound, in charge of the rescue mission, a field report was sent back immediately. Ron Bond says he's above the water, saw a slow-moving object. It's about 18 meters long, about 3 meters high. But this thing is not an airplane. It's a flying object that looks like a disc. The part above the water, a circular vault, can be clearly seen. The object seems to be malfunctioning. There is a lot of yellowish-brown liquid in the sea. Ron, about an hour after Pound arrived at the scene, the object has been submerged by seawater. He is conducting search and rescue work in the Shishi Sea area. After hours of searching, they didn't find any survivors. The search continued into the early hours of the next day, around 3 o'clock, except for the sighting of the ship. An unidentified object sunk in the icy waters of the Atlantic Ocean. The search and rescue team found nothing. The afternoon of the day after the October 5th incident, the rescue team submitted a rescue report to the headquarters. The report says there is a suspected disc-shaped UFO plunged into part of the waters off Break Harbor, contaminated by an unknown yellow-brown object. But the object disappeared after sinking to the bottom of the sea. It is not yet known where the object is sacred. That found a UFO. The police corps reported to the local Royal Navy. What does the Navy hear? There are unidentified America in the year of UFOs picked up a flying saucer in 1974. Look, it's only been 20 years. American technology has advanced. Could it be that this sky-breaking also fell at his door? Then you have to go and see it. So when the Navy got the news, the minesweeper Granby was dispatched as soon as possible. Go to Shag Harbor for a full investigation. The Granby is a military minesweeper. The radar he carried, it was the most advanced radar at the time, and the scans were the best they had ever been. So the Granby is on the seabed of the Silk Sea, performed a full-scale scan for up to 6 days. But no clues were found. No unidentified objects were found. The investigation has been going on for about 2 months. No false evidence was found, or other clues. Did you think the time was up? If it's that simple, it's over. It doesn't fit my video style. So by 1993, an investigator from the American UFO Association, Chris Stiles, and his assistant, Doug Lager, based on coverage and written police information, interviewed many witnesses to the shagging incident, and these include local fishermen, rescue personnel, post-mortem investigators, and an inconvenient named naval officer, and a diver who was first involved in the rescue. The results are contained in these reports. They found some secret information. According to these eyewitness reports, said that the Navy minesweeper arrived that year. Start tracking as soon as possible after the object sneaking into Shago Hills. This object didn't leave at all. He has been latent to the deep sea. The sea floor is about 4 kilometers when radar detects the object. The object also appears to have detected someone following him. He immediately resembled a person. The sea moves at the feet of Javo. This place is special. In the 1960s, America is in many places built military defense base. It just so happens that there is a technical, very advanced American military base. When Canada's minesweepers, when tracked to Cape Government, Navy at a US military base, the cruiser intercepted them. Do not allow them to enter the military operation area. The crew of the Canadian minesweeper at that time, detectable by radar, the location of the underwater unidentified and there's an American cruiser up there. This means that the US Navy also found him. This incredible wealth. I ran into the arms of America. Canada is also stomping its feet after a 3-day standoff with the US cruiser. The object originated from a Canadian minesweeper, completely disappeared from radar. The movement of the object cannot be detected. Shinji's Canadian military immediately launched a salvage operation, want the diver to dive, see if the object is still there. As a result, while the divers were still searching, there's another response on the radar. This time, the radar monitoring equipment there is another unknown object at an extremely fast speed heading in their direction. In the blink of an eye, the unidentified object that disappeared also appears on the radar. And then this unknown object that moved extremely fast. With unidentified objects that previously sank at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know these two things What's going on between the bodies? After a brief encounter, 2 objects suddenly accelerate underwater, leaving the sea. This time, 2 unidentified completely disappeared from the detection According radar. To the location of the military immediately notified the warships nearby warships, also maximized radar detection range, and they did. When they were about to pursue the unidentified object, two unknown objects suddenly burst out of the water at a speed that humans cannot understand. To the sky, and this is the whole story. This process is carried out by local rescue personnel at the scene, investigators at the scene, and a naval officer who cannot be named, and a diver involved in the rescue. But since these documents are all oral, no evidence of implementation, so these reports, as an unofficial record, it's all over the internet. However, the information provided by these witnesses really seems complete. There were over 100 witnesses. How do you feel about this case? It's not like a collective hallucination. Okay, of 3 unsolved mysteries that still remain unsolved. I wanted to take it out separately and make a video later to explain it. I thought about it and finished it together. And the audience enjoyed it. Okay, Globe Ritual. My channel explores the universe and interested unsolved mysteries. Remember to subscribe. See you next time.